Hello, this is the Cycling Legends podcast, and welcome to Tales from the Team Car, when we hear from the exploits of the Nouvelle cycling team, Nouvelle by Prendas, under 23 women's team that's run by my friend David Walters, and the one-man band. It's a fantastic job we're doing. And of course, Nouvelle is our adopted team on the Cycling Legends podcast, and we're following them. We'll be following them forever, and feel part of the team. Welcome, David. You've been in Belgium, haven't you? Again, you are a Belgian team. There's no doubt about it.
Belgian in spirit, Belgian in the weather. Yes. Hello, Chris. Back 1:30 this morning from a Belgian trip. Another good trip, not without its issues, but we'll come on to that. Nothing horrendous. But yes, it's very busy, and the exploits of the team continue to develop.
Great. And let's have a set everybody's mind for geography. So we were in Flanders, weren't you? You're all racing's in Flanders, or most of it, isn't it, in Belgium?
Yeah, we were. We based ourselves just west of Ghent.
Yes.
For this trip, and we had a race on Friday night, which is unusual for us.
Yeah.
Time to go racing. Inter-club race against some pretty sharp, talented riders.
Was it inter-club of all ages, not in 23? It was inter-club.
Inter-club, and also some pretty hot up-and-coming talent that we come up against. So full field, but very interesting to go racing on Friday night, starting at 6 o'clock, which turned out to be 6:15.
In Belgium, and they hadn't got all the betting on. They hadn't got all the betting on.
Yeah.
Last bets.
Waiting for the bar to open at 6 o'clock.
That's right.
But yes, we went out there and raced. Very interesting course. We've decided that if a course doesn't include cobbles, it's unusual these days.
It's true. Belgium's still got a lot of cobbles that it doesn't talk about.
as opposed to, it's unusual to come up to cobbles. So yes, we went there. Lovely small town.
Yeah.
Lovely small town, and down towards Kortrijk, down that neck of the woods. Kortrijk, so Roubaix area.
Yeah, border of East and West Flanders.
Yes, very interesting to go racing down there. Slightly more rural than other parts of Flanders. So yeah, race 102 kilometers. Started off very nice and warm in the sun for once. Got into the race, and then the heavens opened. It was absolutely horrendous. And that part of the world, being slightly more rural, has lots of fields at road level.
Yeah. And
the water was coming off the fields. I've never been in a race, to my memory, where my windscreen wipers were on full for such a long time.
Yeah.
Also, the visibility just went as well. It was horrendous. Riders packing and standing up next to any shelter they could find, just to keep warm. And the riders looked like they'd been down the mines after it. The faces were covered, absolutely soaked.
In Belgian toothpaste, that's what the Australians used to call it. Belgian toothpaste, a mix of mud, cow shit, and water.
Is that right? It was a good description. So we, the race was just decimated, and we didn't have any finishers, but that's not a problem at all. We got well into the end of the race, but some of the riders were taking too much risks, according to our lot, and that's fine. If they want to not take the risks that the other riders seem to be taking, that's fine with me. That's their call, and I trust them to make the call that they make.
And that's your team philosophy, isn't it? It's always the process. It's always the rider first, rider centric.
Yeah, they're empowered to do the right thing, and they do the right thing.
Yeah, and results will come as a consequence of doing the right thing. That's the philosophy.
We weren't alone.
No,
there were a lot of riders pulling out but it's great experience because we got deep into the race, and they didn't complete the last lap. Basically pulled out because it's always unfortunate when the race goes past the HQ when it's horrendous. and the showers are there, or the cars are there, all nice and warm. But that's fine because we got a really good workout, good racing on different roads, and live to fight another day.
Yeah.
Because we had a race yesterday, Sunday, over in a different part of Belgium, out towards Antwerp.
Right. Yeah. So flatter.
Very flat, low lying. Yeah. Again, even more rural, if that can be done.
Yeah.
On the outskirts of Antwerp Port, and you could see all the port infrastructure and the cooling towers.
So very flat on the banks of the Schelde. The river would be higher than you.
Yeah. Very reclaimed land. It's very interesting to go to these places and go racing.
Polder land.
And the race was in Prospect Polder. Exactly. And it was a hamlet.
Mm-hmm.
Literally one short road with a youth centre, a bar, and a church, and a couple of houses.
That's it. A youth centre, bar, and a church.
And it was great. It was very old school, very laid back, but really well run. Great place to go racing. Again, narrow roads with crack of death concrete.
Yes.
And the wind was up.
Yeah.
So when it's exposed, the race would be affected by the wind, because obviously very, very exposed low-lying areas. There's nothing between the North Sea and us, a couple of nights, but the wind was coming from the southwest, so it was coming through Antwerp and up the estuary.
Yeah.
Lovely day. And then it wasn't.
Again.
Another downpour. Huge squall came in, and everybody went diving into the bar, as you can imagine, or stood by the church. The church wasn't open. It should have been open. They would have done a roaring trade.
Biggest congregation he's ever had if you've opened it.
So the race obviously continued. 90-odd riders again in that race. Good field. Really good field. Couple of Conti teams, lot of Belgium. Lot of Destiny riders. Anna Kay was riding it as well. Some good quality riders.
Yeah.
And when the rains came down, unfortunately, Alicia had a spill. Came down quite hard, bashed herself around a bit. But I have to say, expertly looked after by the medics. Ambulance was following, as they always do. And I know it's part of the regulation, but superbly well looked after. And we came away with a foil blanket as a souvenir, which is always nice to have a souvenir for Belgium.
Very nice, yes.
Racing. She came down, she hasn't broken anything. She just bashed herself around on her right-hand side, grazes, and squirmed when they cleaned her wounds in the medicals. That looked like more pain than the racing itself. But she's fine. She'll be back up and at it soon enough.
But it wasn't what you needed mentally. I mean, if just to fill in to listeners, she had a crash earlier this year, didn't she? Where she cracked her skull, fractured her skull.
But she's very pragmatic, and she's very, very aware of processes and what to look for, and we are on top of it with her.
Good.
With a duty of care.
Yes.
Throughout the team, and she's fine with it. Checked in with her this morning. She's beaten up, as you always do when you come down hard off a bike. It's amazing, how much it hurts. Yeah. But she's essentially fine. Grazed, bruised, bit of pride dented because she's riding nicely, really nicely. But she'll be fine. Raring to go. Picks her up, and you put her back on the bike, and away she'll go. She'll be fine.
And you were very impressed with the care that the Belgians gave.
Oh yeah, really good.
And in fact, you've become really accepted. You are now part of Belgian cycling, aren't you?
Well, it seems to be we're really well welcomed within the scene because we turn up and we do our thing, and we do it fairly frequently now.
Yeah.
The last couple of months we've been there 4 times in 7 weeks within the scene. That we tend to become a familiar face,
Good.
and we make friends there, and just say hello, usual stuff.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's really welcoming. Really good racing scene.
Yeah.
We're learning loads. The youngsters are learning loads. Erin's coming on tremendously. So in yesterday's race, 90-odd riders, 32 finished.
Yeah.
So just under 2.5 hours later, through hell and high water, wind, howling rain, and all the rest of it. Danny got a good workout before the National Road Race Championships
Yeah.
this coming week, which we'll touch on in a minute, and she finished 16th.
That's good. It's good.
Erin finished 29th, sat
Yeah,
up
good.
in the bunch sprint. As I said, she was 9th under 23.
Right. Yeah.
So you
So you compare for like, she's doing well in
exactly
Europe. She's top 10 in Europe.
well, you're looking at your peers,
Yeah.
and that's an angle that's important to us as a development team. Look at our peers and look at the rate of progression and how we're progressing. And Erin's coming away thinking, I made that difficult for myself because I was caught out in this place, this place, this place. And you realise, right, she knows this. She knows what she's doing. Plus, there were a couple of other crashes in the race, and she towed Danny back up to the main group on one occasion.
Good.
Half a lap, big old turn on the with Danny on her wheel, and towed her right back up to the lead group. So that would have taken a lot of energy out of it. And
going to be an important double act as the year goes on, isn't it?
And into the future.
Yeah.
They're gelling as a team. They're talking as a team on the road.
Yeah.
They're checking in. Danny went for it on the last lap. She was motoring down the outside of the group going into the last kilometre, but somebody came across her and took all the momentum away. It happens. That's luck of the draw. You hit just about to hit the front of a group, and the bunch swings over and blocks your way. But it's good. It's great learning for everybody. Great weekend away. We're only small. We haven't got vans. We haven't got camper vans or anything. We make do and mend.
Yeah.
But the team are as good a gelled unit as I'd hope they'd be. And we've only just started. We're only 3 months into this whole thing, and we're enjoying ourselves. The ups and downs. Bike racing, sport is brutal. Sport's tough. You've got to deal with the weather, but we've had enough of this weather now. We've had a rotten. It's not just us, is it? It's the whole sport.
Oh yeah, I mean, Alicia. I mean, I just feel for her. And that picture when you had your training weekend, when she got every item of clothing on, the picture that Andy Jones took. I mean, she's come from Brisbane to the worst spring and summer in Northern Europe. Not that there's ever been, but for a long time.
Alicia was saying on the worst day in Brisbane, she would never get to where it's been as an average this spring and early summer in Britain.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 degrees in Brisbane would be headline news.
Nobody'd go out, would they?
So and we did our training weekend, which is great. Kickstarted our second half of the year, got everybody together in the Peak District, and met up with Andy Jones for some photos at Elam Park. Great youth hostel, really lovely part of the world to go riding and training, and go through a few things together as a team, just as we're gearing up for the second part of our year. Touching base with everybody, basically at a place where we haven't got race pressures away from racing. It's important, and I appreciate everybody's got their own time constraints. Freya's in the middle of her A levels, so I'm very grateful for everybody to put the time in when they've all got the commitments. So yeah, it's all happening. It's lots happening.
It really is. It really is. And so the second half of this season now kicks off, or the next phase of the season kicks off next week. So talk us through that, national championships.
Yeah, but Freya and Erin are doing the National Circuit Race Championships Friday night in Darlington.
Right, that's in Darlington. Yeah.
Yep. See what happens. You never know. You never know what might happen in a circuit race. It's going to be flat out from the gun, lots of attacking, few tactics played out. Usual burst off the line cyclocross style.
And cyclocross riders.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be all action, and we'll see what they can do. And then Sunday is the big one, national road race. We'll have our 3 UK riders, Erin, Freya, and Danny, on the course at Saltburn, which I'm led to believe is a modified version of last year's course and the East Cleveland Classic this year.
Yeah.
It's 5 laps up Saltburn Bank, basically, with a lot of rolling stuff in between, but nowhere near as big an elevation gain as last year.
No.
So it opens the race up to domestic riders that are in really good form and can hang with the World Tour riders.
Yeah.
The World Tour riders are going to want to dominate and whittle down the field to make it a manageable group, like always happens. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's always good fun. National championships, always a nice event, always good media coverage, and we'll see what happens.
Well, it sounds like Danny's got her legs, doesn't it? I mean, she's coming off the Paralympic training programs, and like you said, she was making a real good lunge at that sprint at the end.
Yeah, she had a good crack. Yes, it's a step into the unknown because she hasn't done a lot of road racing. So, but she looked in great shape yesterday. She's obviously in great shape.
Yeah,
getting some racing reflexes and racing instincts in yesterday over the weekend.
She's not riding a road race with somebody else behind her, like the tandem. She realizes when she's going around corners.
Yeah,
because she's been
the bike can move a bit quicker, she said.
Yeah.
the bike moves a bit quicker, and she doesn't have to communicate to her partner, to Lizzie, on the back. So yeah, the whole race, the national road race, is a really interesting race in itself. Lots of different things, different targets for different people along the way. The World Tour riders should dominate, and it's no secret, I don't think, that Pfeiffer, George, and Anna Henderson are the favourites.
Yeah,
that will be a very interesting race, right at the sharp end.
Yeah,
quite excited to follow it. And then there's obviously some other riders in amongst the professional ranks that will be looking to do things. And it does get very tactical. I mean, if somebody attacked and Pfeiffer and Anna start looking at each other, saying, I'm not going to chase, are you going to chase, blah, blah, blah. You never know who might attack out of the woodwork.
Look out for, isn't
early,
it?
Get a gap.
I can guess what your team briefing's going to be.
Yeah, if there are going to be domestic riders that might make the selection.
Yeah,
a selection. And if you make a selection, then you're in for a good result.
Yeah.
We hope the weather plays ball off the North Sea.
It's supposed to be going to change.
Yes.
But I will tell Alicia that Saltburn's never warm.
Yeah, she's not riding, thankfully.
Of course not. Of course not.
She's her and B are our pit crew.
Yeah. Oh, right, great. That's so lovely.
All hands on deck. And we'll just see what happens. It's good fun. And it's end of the beginning, to quote.
Yeah, the end of the beginning. And
then we've got some circuit races to do. Otley and Ilkley and Guildford.
Yeah.
Otley's great. Always a good race. Much more like a road race than a town centre crit.
Yes.
And then we hit Belgium again.
Great.
In 3 weeks' time. Right. So see our friends again.
Yeah.
And it was quite nice. They were all asking, a few of them were asking yesterday, when are you coming over next? And they said, 3 weeks. Oh, great. See you there.
Brilliant.
So on and so forth. So yes, it continues to be busy and logistics filled. And yes, it's great. The team's developing so well. Really enjoying ourselves out on the road.
So you're where you envisaged you'd want to be at this point in the year?
Yeah, could have done without Alicia crashing yesterday.
Yes, of course.
But that's part of the whole sport. But we're enjoying our time traveling together, and that's a huge part of it.
Good.
We spend some time, plenty of time sitting in the cars together, divvying up the driving duties between me and Caroline.
Yeah.
The bikes on the top, going through customs, etc. Enjoying ourselves, and people, the whole gang get on extremely well, and there's a bunch of friends going racing and learning lots.
Yeah, it's lovely. It sounds
Yeah, it's great. It's a really positive place, and I hope it comes across in our social media stuff that we're doing. That it's not easy. It's not easy sport to travel around Northern Europe on a minimal budget to do these things, but we're making a really good fist of it.
No.
And I'm building for the future as much as the riders are building for their future.
Yeah.
So it's very encouraging, really good fun, and the sport is developing quite quickly. You see it's changing. There are things happening within the sport, within Britain, and developments that we've been told about in the Kermesse scene as well, which we'll see what happens there, which is really positive.
Good.
And Kermesse racing is a great place to be.
Well, that's mine and yours blueprint for British road racing, isn't it? It would be let's just do Kermesses.
They're a great place to learn how to do lots of things.
Yes. Yes.
And the British scene does need to shake up. The task force, BC task force, has its recommendations. We're waiting for the action plan from that. But in the meantime, we're doing our thing and embedding ourselves in a really nice race scene.
Good. Okay, well, we'll hear from you possibly either after the national championships or after the next tranche of races, but it's up to you. We'll talk about that off air when we're going to do the next one.
Yep. Just want to say thanks to everybody that's supporting us along our way.
Yeah.
People have been in touch. It's very nice of them. Very grateful for any input. And soon be time to think about 2025.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
It's amazing how early you have to be to get in people's consciousness and planning phases for the following year. So as soon as the national championships are over, it's our chance to put our heads around planning, building, cajoling everybody for 2025 and 2026.
Yeah, and if there's anybody listening with a business that wants to get into sponsoring a wonderful set of girls and a great team that's just will give a completely positive impression of your business, please get in touch with the podcast and we'll pass you on to David.
We've got some very interesting things bubbling away.
Yes, we're going to talk about those later, aren't we?
Yes, there's some lovely editions. Yeah, lovely stuff bubbling away, and one thing in particular, fingers crossed, comes off, and it'll be very positive for everybody concerned.
Yeah, and it will raise the profile of the team immediately.
Yes, it will. Yeah, and it's a vindication of everybody's hard work if this comes around, and it is. Yeah. We'll touch on that later when it all gets
when you got more confidence.
Processed. Yeah, exactly. But it looked very promising.
We're both in the same position. We're on the edge of some really big developments in our businesses, but you can't talk about them yet. Can't wait to talk about them.
No, can't wait to talk about it. You can't talk about them, but it's credit to everybody involved in everybody's projects that we're all linked together. It's just a really nice, positive place to be, and I'm forever grateful for the support we get and the support from the girls as well on the team. They're just brilliant to be around, and it's a pleasure to go racing with them. So I think that comes across, and it's a very positive, feel-good place. Hard racing, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. We take the racing seriously, but none of them are prima donnas. We just like to go racing hard and learn as much as we can and do it the right way. Yep,
brilliant. I think you should get the phrase "fluffy grass" emblazoned somewhere on the team car. That's a beautiful moment. That was.
We'll develop that.
Develop it. It could be a business, couldn't it? That fluffy grass.
Fluffy grass.
Fluffy grass.
We'll develop the theme through the year.
Yeah, lovely. Right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, David. Until next time.